Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we are talking about Beauty and the Beast, a 1991 animated Disney classic directed by Gary Trousdale and Kirk Wise. It's a family musical starring Paige O'Hara as Belle, Robbie Benson as Beast, Angela Lansbury as Miss Potts, Jerry Orbach as Lumiere, Richard White as Gaston. There you go. Jumping around on the page here. David Ogden Stiers as Cogsworth, Jesse Cordy as LeFou, Bradley Pierce as Chip, and Rex Everhart as Maurice. Great cast. David Ogden Stiers kind of surprised me. He's kind of popular, but normally he's one of those, you know the name, but you can never think of anything they're in. Along with Jerry Orbach, they're just those kinds of people you hear about constantly that it's like, oh, what are they in? I never remember. Has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. That feels earned. And with a budget of $25 million, it made $440 million at the box office. Impressive. It's a great movie. My girlfriend and I agree that its biggest issue is that it starts out very slow, and once it gets to Be Our Guest, the song sung by Lumiere, that's when it picks up kind of pretty fast. My biggest issue, my personal biggest issue, is saving all of the action for the end. Yeah, it makes for a really great ending, but you gotta give us something in the middle to keep us engaged. And yeah, again, I'm not the target audience for this movie, so for me to say that it doesn't have any action, well, it does at the end. That's when I start paying attention. Again, though, not the target audience for me. Other than those, though, this movie is great. All the voice acting is solid, and nobody gives a bad performance. And the animation is beautiful. That's something I always seem to forget to talk about with these animated movies. If you're making an animated movie, you want to make sure that it's not hard for your audience to look at. You also want to make sure that it's going to hold up a few years down the line. It's 2020. How did I forget what terrible year we're in right now? And this movie came out in 1991. That's close to 20 years ago. In fact, probably like 19 years. I'm not great at math, so don't correct me in the comments section. There's a reason I got like a 45 on my New York State Math Regents test, and then a 72 on the Common Core. We won't get into that. But animation in this versus, say, if I can find something, here we go. Great example, actually, from 1960-something, The Grinch. That animation in The Grinch has been remastered to look the way it does. If you watch the VHS copy that I used to watch all the time, it's kind of weird to look at. Not to say that that's a bad thing. I think over time watching the animation growth in a studio or several studios is quite interesting. Something that we'll get into next week that I will touch on now are these four movies here. This is a great little piece of history that shows a studio's growth. So you got the very first Pixar movie that the animation for isn't wonderful. It's kind of freaky to look at, especially some of the human characters. They fix up on that in 1999 when they released its sequel. And then, of course, you've got movies like Monsters, Inc. that came out, and then you jump to 2010. Now the animation has improved tenfold, and the human characters look like humans. They're not hard to look at. They don't haunt your nightmares like they would have in the original movie. And then you come to the fourth film, 9 years after the third, and the animation quality makes the water look realistic. That's why Toy Story is the greatest piece of history you will ever find for an animated film. For a lot of these Disney movies like Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast, the sequels that follow it downgrade the animation. I don't like that. I think the studio needs to work on improving the animation as the film goes along. I am not an animation expert, so I don't personally think I'm in any space to talk good and or bad about a studio's skills with animation, but you also have to kind of factor in the fact that most of the sequels for these big Disney movies are direct-to-video, so it's kind of a different department that's working on them. They don't get all the budget that the first movies have, but hey, what are you gonna do? Moving right along, this movie accomplishes the goal of creating animation to transfer into the 21st century and make it still hold up. I think it holds up. All of these Disney Renaissance movies, I think the animation holds up well. What I find funny and I love about this is that it's able to deliver a story about Stockholm Syndrome and bestiality in a children's movie. It's not because of those that I love this. It's the fact that it's so subtle. They're not throwing it in your face like, hey, she's trying to get with an animal, or she's blatantly falling in love with her abuser / kidnapper. It's subtle. It's in the undertext of the film. You have to really read into it in order to pick up on those things. Another great thing about Disney, Aladdin, which we'll get into tonight, that's a racist story. But you don't look at it like that unless you think about it. So, you don't think about the fact that Belle is falling for the man who kidnapped her. You don't think about that kind of stuff. But again, it's so subtle versus in your face about it. That's a good thing. The story, though, it's kind of a meh for me. Again, I'm not the target audience, once again. But I can enjoy the Gaston parts. I think he's such a lovable idiot who's also really, really, really rude and disrespectful towards women. That part I don't like about him. I think he's kind of an ass for that, and definitely got what he deserved at the end of the movie. But he's a lovable idiot throughout, especially his little sidekick toady, LeFou. I love saying his name like that. I don't know why. He's not the best Disney villain, but he's still written as a good villain. Belle, on the other hand, is one of the greatest Disney princesses because she changes the princess trope. She is not a damsel in distress, and she's very intelligent. People, they sing a whole song about how weird she is because she's reading a book. Think about that. Think about if I was reading Stephen King's The Shining, and all of a sudden everyone in my house and on my street and then all my friends started singing a song about how weird I am. You'd feel embarrassed, right? She don't. She pays it no mind until she gets home. Then she's like, do you think I'm weird? And her father rolls out of whatever stupid little invention he's building. And he's like, my daughter, weird? And he's got these really big glasses on to make his eyes look big googly anime eyes. Very funny moment in that. And what else is wonderful is that she doesn't start out as a princess. She's just a commoner who happens to find out her father got kidnapped by this beast in the forest, and she goes to rescue him. So I guess the father's the damsel in distress? I don't know how I feel about that. Definitely a interesting addition to a Disney movie. She doesn't become the princess until the very end when she marries Prince Adam, or Beast, however you want to refer to him. And it's because she isn't under that requirement that if you're a princess, your parents are automatically dead. You know, the whole Elsa Anna situation from Frozen 2 where Olaf's like, her parents are fine. Her parents are dead, or whatever that line is. So Belle doesn't fall under that requirement. So Maurice is quite a prominent character in that film. The side characters are great, too. Especially Lumiere and Cogsworth. I remember having a little, I don't know where it came from, but when I was a kid, I had a little a little chip cup and a little Mrs. Potts teapot thing. I don't know where it came from. It kind of showed up in my bin of toys with all my Power Rangers in it. And Chip became a villain for many, many years until I watched Beauty and the Beast for the first time and realized that maybe he's not a villain. He's just an innocent child who sleeps in the cupboard. Harry Potter, anybody? So, with everything in mind, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 just because I wish there was a little more action. I'm an action guy, as you'll find out in a second. So, something I want to talk about is I made the decision last night to switch completely to YouTube. I will no longer be posting any reviews on Instagram unless they're kind of small ones that I don't have time to do a video on. Like my friend requested me to watch a Netflix movie called The Platform. Ian, I finally did it, and I posted the review on Instagram, but I never made a video for it. You might find stuff like that. Not to say that all requests are going to not get a video. I will try and do as many as possible. And eventually I will take all those movies that I've already done and make videos for them. Just so I can move pretty much everything. I've been doing series rankings on Instagram, movie rankings, like I did all the 2020 movies I've seen so far / may ever see, because 2020 just continues to go down the toilet bowl. So stuff like that you'll see. So yeah, you can look forward to videos basically only, or reviews only being on YouTube. I almost said Facebook. I don't know why. And I will use Instagram mainly to keep in contact with everybody. So if you don't follow it, it's at Luke Reviews 2020. It's always down in the description of the video. Lastly, got a couple of pickups here from Best Buy I want to talk about. First one is Us. It's a horror film written by Jordan Peele. Very interesting. I've heard it's not as good as Get Out, but I haven't seen either of them yet. I've watched the kill counts on Dead Meat. So that kind of inspired me to go watch these movies. Another one that similar story, watched the kill count for, but still haven't seen it. The Belko Experiment. Imagine if Dunder Mifflin was attacked by weird people who told them you have less than an hour to kill 60 people in the office building. So that's like Dunder Mifflin, the everybody, the pretzel guy. You know, Stanley would not kill the pretzel man, but pretzel man may kill Stanley for eating all of his stock. The world may never know. So just kind of look at it like that. I definitely want to do a review of this, and I want to watch it. I'm very excited to watch those. So, to kind of keep with my schedule, I'll probably post a review for Aladdin later tonight, and it might be like late tonight. Or I may just hold off until tomorrow and kind of plan. I'll figure out a way to plan it so I watch movies the way I usually do, which is watch them at night, do my little typing thing on Google Docs, and then post the video the next day, and have a schedule based on what I do the night before will come out as a video the next day. So like, take Aladdin for example, tonight I'm watching that, and then so if you were to see the schedule, it would say Friday Aladdin, or I don't even know what day it is. Today Thursday? Today could be Thursday. If I told you I thought today was Tuesday, would you be surprised? Welcome to quarantine. See, that's kind of it. Another special thing about Aladdin, it will have officially been my 100th video, or 100th movie review. Probably like my 15th video. I don't know. I'd have to count them. Something I had been looking forward to was figuring out what to do for my 100th video. I knew it had to be a movie special to me, and it completely slipped my mind until last night that it was coming up. So Beauty and the Beast will be 99. So I was like, well, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Aladdin. I wanted to do a movie that was special to me. Aladdin. Perfect timing, right? Right. A couple things you can look forward to from me as well. A video for Big Hero 6. You guys voted on Instagram. That's the one we'll be watching. thank you. I actually was really hoping you guys would pick Big Hero 6. Another list, as Disney Week comes to a close in a few days, we'll be doing top 10 Disney movies. Another one, top 10 Disney movies to watch on Disney+. Those ones won't be popular or obvious choices, so you won't see like The Lion King, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Big Hero 6, stuff like that. No Star Wars, no Marvel, no National Geographic. I'm not going to sit through and watch those. But those would probably be like my personal opinion kind of things. So you can look forward to that. And then I'll put out another vote for either Pocahontas or The Great Mouse Detective probably later on this week. But keep in mind, anything that doesn't get voted for will eventually go into another Disney week a long time from now. This whole week of children's movies is killing me. I had to watch horror movies on Shudder just to balance it all out. So that's all stuff you can look forward to. So I'm going to do videos for a Goofy movie, an extremely Goofy movie as well, and Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 will probably be out today, just because you guys voted, and I want to get the votes out. Also, I really want to thank you guys for like the 12 views on my Emperor's New Groove video in an hour. I know that's not a lot, but to me that was mind-blowing. When the past few days I've only gotten 1 or 2 views on videos. So huge shout out to you guys. That blew my mind. I'm hoping, since you guys voted, that the Big Hero 6 one will be even bigger. So seriously, shout out to you guys. You guys are literally the best in the world. Until Big Hero 6, until Aladdin, until everything else I talked about, I'm Luke, and I will see you guys